awful lot of people depend on truck drivers to deliver the goods safely and on time. Just as important to the driver is making those hauls as economically as possible. That helps keep the payoff up. And you'd like those runs to be as effortless as possible, too, so that you're not overly tired when you climb down from the cab. You know, you can have the finest power plant in the world in your truck, but it's how easily and skillfully you get that power to the drive wheels that separates the expert driver from the novice. Well, you can have that skill and ease when the power flows through a Fuller 13-speed overdrive ROADRANGER transmission, and you become familiar with the simple shifting pattern it requires. This program will show you how to operate this transmission, which was designed for today's heavy-duty on-highway trucks. In addition, you will learn some operating tips which can help save fuel, reduce downtime, and make driving a lot easier. The 13-speed transmission consists of a front section with 5 forward speeds plus reverse, and an auxiliary section with low range, high range, and overdrive splitter gear sets. The 5 front section gears are used for low through 4th gear, while the auxiliary is in low range, and the 5th through 8th gear, while the auxiliary is in high range. You shift the front section gears by moving the shift lever through this simple 5-speed shift pattern. While you're in high range, you can split the 5th through 8th gears. However, don't split the low range gears. You make the range shifts and splitter shifts with either a 3-position selector valve mounted on top of the shift lever, or a 2-position selector valve and a range control valve mounted on the shift lever. There are many styles of 3-position selector valves, but they all operate the same. You select low for low range, direct for high range, and OD for overdrive splits. When driving a rig with the 2-valve setup, shift from low range to high range by using the range control valve. Once you are in high range, select overdrive by flipping the selector valve to OD. Here are the specific shifting procedures as you would perform them in your cab. The shift patterns demonstrated are for the overdrive models. Operation of the double overdrive models is the same, except the positions of the 4th to 8th and 3rd to 7th levers are reversed. You start your engine with the transmission in neutral and bring the vehicle's air pressure to normal. Check to be sure the valves are set for low range. If not, flip the selector valve to low on the 3-position selector valve. On the 2-valve setup, you would push the range control valve handle down and then flip the selector valve button to direct. Now push in the clutch pedal and pull the lever to low gear position. Caution: use the low gear only when the auxiliary is in low range. Use of the low gear while in high range will cause premature failure of the low gear. If your truck is equipped with an upshift clutch brake, you should push the clutch pedal all the way to the floor before pulling the lever into gear. Pushing in the clutch will stop the counter shaft and main shaft gears from rotating. Then the clutching teeth won't clash. If your truck does not have an upshift clutch brake, simply depress the clutch pedal and wait 5 or 6 seconds to allow the gears to stop rotating by themselves. Now, release the clutch pedal and start moving in low gear. Accelerate until you have enough momentum to allow the upshift to first gear. Then double clutch through to first gear. If you're not familiar with double clutching, here's how it works. Skillful drivers use double clutching to help synchronize the clutching members of the transmission. This helps prevent damage to the clutching teeth. To double clutch, start your shift by pushing in the clutch pedal and releasing the accelerator as you move the shift lever to neutral. Once the lever is in neutral, let out the clutch. This reconnects the transmission counter shaft and the main shaft gears to the engine so you can adjust their speed to match the main shaft transmission speed. On upshifts, you let the engine RPM drop off to lower the transmission gear speed. On downshifts, you rev the engine to speed up the transmission gears. The amount you speed up or slow down the gearing depends on the RPM at which you start your shift and the difference between the gear ratios in the transmission. Once you have synchronized the gear speeds, push in the clutch once again and move the lever to the next gear position. Double clutch all upshifts and downshifts requiring movement of the lever. Don't push the clutch pedal all the way to the floor when shifting. All that's needed is to push it in until the clutch releases. Quick upshifts using the clutch brake will be discussed later. Now continue upshifting to second, third, and fourth in low range. While you're still in fourth gear, prepare for the shift to fifth gear by pre-selecting high range. You do this by moving the selector valve to direct or by pulling the range control valve up. In either case, the transmission will not shift until you move the lever through neutral. When you're driving at full governed RPM in fourth gear, check your speedometer and remember the speed. It will be helpful to you later when you're downshifting. When you're ready to shift to fifth gear, double clutch and move the lever to the fifth gear position, which is the same as first gear in low range. You can continue to upshift through sixth, seventh, and eighth gear if road conditions and load permit it. But if you want to split each gear on the way up, here's how to do it. When you're ready to upshift from fifth direct to fifth overdrive, flip the selector button from direct to OD and immediately push in the clutch pedal as you release the throttle. Then let out the clutch and accelerate. To continue upshifting to sixth direct, start your shift lever to sixth gear with the selector button in OD. Once the lever is in sixth gear position, flip the selector button from OD to direct. Then make your final clutch engagement and accelerate. Continue upshifting in this manner until you reach your operating speed. Remember, you don't have to use the splitter if you don't need it. What about downshifting? When you're ready, here's what you do. After your vehicle has slowed enough to allow the downshift from 8th overdrive to 8th direct, flip the button to direct and immediately release the throttle. Then disengage and re-engage the clutch and accelerate. Use this same procedure when downshifting from overdrive to direct in any high-range gear. To continue downshifting from 8th direct to 7th overdrive, flip the button from direct to overdrive. Then immediately double-clutch your lever shift through to 7th gear, accelerating the engine when the shift lever is in neutral.